live then? Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Darren Hooker, Chief of Police, Village of Ruidoso. This is the Village of Ruidoso, City of Ruidoso Downs Consolidated Dispatch Joint Board regular scheduled meeting, Wednesday, January 13th, 2021 at 1 p.m. I'm calling this meeting to order. Ms. De Los Santos, if you could give us a roll call, please.
Yes, sir. Chair Hooker,
Present.
Chief Thetford, Chief Thetford.
Here.
Okay. Joe Kasuboski,
Here.
Counselor Letterman,
Here.
Counselor Romero,
Here.
Chief Scott,
Here.
and Chief Ellard.
Here.
Okay, all are present.
Awesome. Okay. Well, technology, as those of you out in virtual land can see, we are utilizing the system that's been set up here at the Ruidoso Convention Center. So we're going to work our way through this. The next thing after the roll call is the approval of agenda. I'd ask for a motion to approve that agenda.
I move that we accept the agenda as presented.
I got a first from Ms. Letterman and a second from Mr. Romero. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Same sign. Okay, thank you. Moving right along. Regular items. Number one, approval of the minutes from October 14th, 2020 regular meeting.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Romero first, and Ms. Letterman beat you by a hair there, Chief Ellard. So
Sorry.
everybody's in on it together. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, moving right along. Item number two, discussion and possible action on Resolution 2021-01, a resolution declaring reasonable notice of public meetings for the Consolidated Dispatch Joint Board. It's my understanding this is a housekeeping issue to, again, say that we are notifying the world that we will have these meetings, when they meet and where they meet. And as in relation to where they meet, it said in the declaration that they would be held at the Village of Ruidoso or the City of Ruidoso Downs Clerk's Office. However, if they're going to be held for the village side, it will be conducted here at the Convention Center through May. So I just put that out as a housekeeping note.
Yes, sir.
And I don't believe we have to make any kind of voting or anything on that.
Yes, you have to adopt the resolution.
Okay, I apologize then. So is there any further discussion on it? Okay, then I'll ask for a motion.
I make the motion to approve Resolution 20-21, a resolution declaring the reasonable notice of public meetings for the Consolidated Dispatch Joint Board.
Second.
Okay, we have a first by Mr. Kazabowski and second by Mr. Romero. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No opposed. Okay, thank you. Number three, discussion and possible action on election of officers, the chairperson, vice chairperson, and secretary. Currently, I'm the chairperson. Chief Scott is the vice chairperson, and Joe Kazabowski is the secretary. I'll entertain a motion for anybody that wants to take over the overthrow of this great board. No, I'm just kidding. Or you can keep it the same. Again, I throw it out there.
Keep it the same.
Keep it the same.
All right, so if somebody wants, do we need to do each one, Bertha?
No, you can just have one motion and then name the people that are going to be in the office.
Okay, so if somebody wants to make a motion, if you're saying to keep it the same, then please just state the names of each one, and then we can have a second.
I'll make a motion to keep Chief Hooker as the chair, Chief Scott as the vice, and Joe Kajubowski as the treasurer.
Secretary. Okay, so we've got a first by Chief Thetford and a second by Chief Ellard. Is there any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Well, there you go. And just to continue on with that, as my co-chair here, we visited a little bit. We'll keep things going as long as they're good, and if we need to change something, then we'll do that when the time's appropriate. So number 4, discussion on dispatcher personnel status. We have Ms. Simpson there online, if she can go live and tell us where we're at and how it's going.
Hello, everybody. Just a little update. We are still short-staffed. There's only 6 of us. We have 1 in background. We have 1 we're interviewing on Thursday. We're not getting very many applications, but the ones we are getting, I'm processing. So that's kind of where we're at right now. We're working a lot of overtime, covering shifts.
Okay, Katie, I'm going to ask you that there is the E911 upgrade that's getting ready to take place. Can you give us a quick brief on that?
Sure. So we're getting a new 911, and it'll be installed in February, the first week of February. All of the dispatchers will be trained on that new system February 2nd, I believe. And we'll have a cutover date on February 3rd. So we'll have a new system, be a little bit more updated, and we're getting new recording software for recording those lines and all of the radio traffic and everything. So it's a pretty big project I've been working on, and hopefully that first week of February we'll be all done with it and running smooth.
Is there any plan or intent to have it E911 disrupted, or where we need to hand off to the county for any time?
No, so the county is actually getting a new system also, and I spoke with them yesterday, the 911 people. They said that there won't be any interruption. What they're going to do is they're going to take down one of our positions, get it live and running, make sure everything's working good, and then they'll cut over the 2nd and the 3rd position, so there won't be anything needing to be forwarded to the county or anything.
Okay. I'll open it up to the board for any questions of Ms. Simpson. Anybody?
Hey, Katie, it's Susan. I just wanted to say thank you for all the hard work. Please let everyone know how much we appreciate. I know that you've been short-staffed and there's been a lot of working hours, so thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Romero, go ahead. Yes, sir.
I'm just kind of curious, Katie, do we need to do something to make the job more enticing or something to get a few applicants, or just something we can do?
I would say that our wage needs to be higher personally. I mean, 15, 24 an hour doesn't sound good to people that are going to have to be working overnights, weekends, holidays, missing kids' birthdays. People just don't want to work it. So I think we're not getting candidates that we could be potentially getting if our wage started a little higher.
Well, I do know that, at one point I was in your dispatch at one time and got to watch you guys actually handle some 911s. And I know for those guys that are listening to you guys for information coming over the radio, it's a pretty important job. It seems like it's kind of worth a little bit more than that to me. So I don't know what steps we need to take, but maybe look into it or something.
Yes, sir.
I know from our standpoint, it would most likely be, the best time would be coming up.
Yes,
We're
I
getting
was
ready to
just-
go into the budget
Yes.
hearings, and hopefully at our prospective agencies, we could just make that as an item or an action item or
Yes.
something to say we could do a pay raise.
We heard you, Katie.
Thank you.
Well, and I agree. Anybody who's gotten to work, got to see dispatchers work, they're special people. Katie, I really appreciate
No,
what you guys do.
absolutely.
Sometimes I'm on the end of that radio, and information is very valuable to me before I show up. I appreciate what you guys do. So if we need to work on that, maybe we just need to move forward that work on it.
Thank you.
Are there any issues coming out the other way from dispatch out to the agencies that you'd like to make known or put out?
I've spoke with Chief Scott a little bit about just maybe getting, a voicemail or something set up down there to transfer the officers to. If somebody calls in for one of the officers in Ruidoso Downs, and he's working on that, so that would be a huge help for the swing shift and the night shift that can't just transfer it over to the records to take a message. So I think that that's pretty important. Those guys down there, they get a lot of calls. So just getting a voicemail set up for them, like I said, Chief Scott's been kind of working on that. Otherwise, everything's been going pretty smooth.
Okay, so again, I'll open it back up. Yes, sir, Mr. Caldwell.
I got one question, and this is for Katie or even you, Chief. Has there been a study done into the pay for dispatchers throughout the area and similar type communities like a destination community?
So no, there hasn't been. I know the village has discussed in the past doing an overall survey for the village employees with breakouts that went down into other, whether it be fire or police or that
Right.
thing. So I think that that's loosely in the works. I know there was some stoppage due to all of this other stuff that's going on, but I think that's something that we could probably task her to do also.
Yeah, on piggybacking with Joe, if we could get like a Taos, Santa Fe, Santa Fe's a little bit bigger, but it is a destination. Those kinds of areas, if we could get that before that strategic planning meeting in a week,
Yes, ma'am.
maybe
Whatever covers
that, and that would help.
Angel Fire area, because that's a destination area too, so.
Yes.
And so a lot of what you're going to find too, though, and I don't know about those areas specifically, Katie, you'd be able to tell me potentially, is they already have their consolidated dispatches, like Mervda that does down south, Lico, those kind of places. So that may be all the information you're going to get. Katie?
So you're saying maybe reach out to, I'm not sure about Angel Fire if they have their own or Taos, but I know Santa Fe Regional is consolidated.
Yeah, that might.
I can reach out to some other places and ask them and see what their starting is and stuff.
I would appreciate it. It would help out during the meeting.
Yes, ma'am. I'll work on that and I'll get that sent over to Chief Hooker.
Thank you.
Because you have an association, right? You could probably just ping them in an email just asking for, hey, how much, start now.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Anybody else out there in virtual? Okay. So that's number 4. I'll go to reports from board members. I'll start for those of you out on my screen. Chief Thetford?
No, sir, I don't have anything today. Thank you.
Okay. Chief Ellard?
Everything's been going good on our end through dispatch. Everything's been working great.
Okay. Mr. Romero?
The only thing I just said, that the city's going through a lot of change and we're working our ways through it, and anything that we can help, please let us know.
Okay. Joe?
No, I don't have anything, Chief. I'm good.
Chief?
I don't have a lot other than to let you know that for the moment, we are full and we've been extremely busy. And so I know we've put a load on the dispatchers, and I apologize for that, but these guys have been very busy. Anything we can do to help with recruitment, or, I can assist you with maybe the salary study or whatever you may need, just let me know and we'll do what we can to help.
I don't have anything.
Okay, then I saved myself for last only because we have Joe Kenmore and newly elected and in position Sheriff Wood there. Would you guys like to say anything to the board or visit about some stuff?
Chief, can you hear us okay?
Gotcha.
Okay, Mike, you can hear me as well?
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, all, and thanks again for having us on. I would reiterate my commitment to joining this endeavor. And again, I take my hat off to Katie. I take my hat off to dispatchers in my office at the moment. They truly are the first responder when it comes down to it. They are looking and listening to people, in essence, over the phone, and this happened not long ago to us, murder their wife and then kill themselves. So my gosh, what else can I say about it? So I think by the sounds of it, the village or your consolidated dispatch thus far has us beat on salary, and that's something I intend to approach the commission with during the budget season, during this next budget as well. So, but again, I want to reiterate our commitment to this, and I think that a comparative analysis of some of these places you mentioned would be appropriate, because hopefully we'll be in the same boat. this entire county will be consolidated with dispatch. And it's been suggested by the chief, and I've spoken to Joe about this. We're going to start leaning heavily on Katie, and because she's got the contacts, she's done this, she's been doing this now. So we're going to lean heavily on her too for her guidance in this deal. But in short, again, as the sheriff, I'm committed to join this. I've gotten more positive feedback about it than I have negative. The county manager is on board with this. I haven't been able to point out any disadvantages to it, but rather all advantages. So again, we're on board, and we're going to start rolling, getting the wheels turning on our end as fast as we can. So that being said, I will let you know that I hired my dispatch supervisor to be my sheriff's administrative assistant. Right now works good for us because it takes her out of dispatch for a little while, but she's also able to go in there and cover things. We're shorthanded too. We have some that are in background, but we're experiencing the same problem as you guys and gals are, and that is that folks don't want to do this and listen to people murder others over the phone for what you can make it McDonald's in essence in my office. So I think this is going to be a huge benefit to those who deserve a little better compensation package than what they're getting now. So again, we will be reaching out. The transition has been time consuming, as you can well imagine. I mean, I'm only 13 days into this thing, and I've got a lot of questions being asked and a lot of concerns from folks about where I stand and the political climate and some of the things that are going on not only in the state but in this country. So before long, and things kind of settle a little bit, I'm going to really be leaning on some folks that have already got the wheels turning on this deal. So, Joe?
I'd just like to add, Katie, perhaps Pecos Valley Regional over at Roswell, and I don't know, maybe something in the Clovis-Portales area might be equal size dispatch for us. And I'd be glad to help you look out to those. If there's anything that we need to do, I know that I've said for the last year that we were going to have a new tower on Buck. Everything is finally in place. Wrong time of the year to be on Buck. So we're working forward with it, getting some equipment ready to go up and stuff. But we will have that to add to our tower list, if you will, when this comes around, so that we can help everybody, hopefully with sites. I'm really looking forward to this, and I really hope that it comes out as smooth as it looks, and I think it will by the looks of everybody here. So thanks, and I guess we'll turn it back over to you, Chairman Hooker.
Well, thank you, guys. And just for historical perspective, this took it was talked about even before I got here, and I'm going into year 6. And when we hit the ground running hard and heavy, it took us a good 2 years of meeting before we flipped the switch. So, Sheriff, as you say that you're kind of busy, we understand that. And I think we're just going to have to eat the elephant one bite at a time.
Sir.
The move to the Horton is still a potential go. They moved already through the plans from one room that was much smaller into an even bigger room, not only for the potential of more coming in there, but just for the room's sake and the upgrades. So that's still in the works, and once that happens, I'm sure we'll just keep going.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, if I could add.
Oh, yes, sir.
Make no mistake about it, we're not going to drag our feet on my end. I would say within the next couple of weeks, we'll be able to start getting a hold of folks. And if it happens that another location seems more suitable, and this is something we'd all obviously have to agree upon, I certainly wouldn't want to see an awful lot of things put into one location, and then all of a sudden here comes the sheriff and, hey, let's do something different. So I'm not going to put you in that sort of situation. And in the interim, if there's things I can start doing, and I'll have Yvonne, I don't know who else I would have start working on things at my end besides Joe. Start making phone calls, be in touch with Katie more often, see what we can do to get the ball rolling. But I'm not going to drag my feet. You got my word.
Okay, well, that sounds good. Thank you again, Sheriff. So,
And I'm on a short leash, so I go with him.
good.
Chief Thetford has something.
Oh, Chief Thetford, you there?
Yeah, while we're all here at the meeting, I know I talked to Travis about it and Kajubaski a little bit, but has there been talk and work, as far as the Horton goes, not having a tower down there and putting in a dispatch, where do we stand there? That's a pretty big ticket item.
So that has been brought back to the, I'd say the architect/planning committee for the Horton. And I believe Radio Rick was looking into how high of a tower he would need to have something setting down there. He, unless I'm speaking out of turn, didn't say it had to be a monster. Katie, do you remember anything, or is?
I think Lieutenant Chavez was working on that, so he's probably going to have better answer if he's.
Okay, I did get a response back from Radio Rick. He did advise that he was going to give me a quote. I believe he told me that it was going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 175 feet high. It was going to have to be. So he hasn't given me a quote yet. As soon as that happens, I will forward it to the board. But we are at this time still working on that, obtaining the quote. He did have some other solutions, but that would be for a future endeavor as far as relocating the site someplace else.
Okay, thank you, LT. Chief, good there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, anybody else? We don't have a closed session. Unless there's anything else that needs to be discussed at this time, I'm going to ask for an adjournment.
And you
I'll
don't
make that
need-
motion to adjourn.
You
Okay.
don't need a motion to adjourn.
We don't need it? Oh, okay, we don't need it. She says I can just bank the gavel. Thanks, everybody. Be safe, and we'll see you soon.
Okay.